Hello, humans! Today is the last day of 2025, and it's been a bit of a year. So, what I wanted to do today is I just wanted to go over all of my favorite things of 2025. So, this is going to be folding knives, fixed blade knives, some other assorted EDC stuff like headphones and musical doodads, Bluetooth doodads, just kind of my favorite stuff of 2025. So, the rules for this one here are fairly simple. First thing first, it does not have to be released in 2025, and I do not have to have obtained it in 2025. I don't really like lists that are just like the best new stuff of 2025 because if nothing new is better than stuff that was already out, I don't think it should be celebrated in a best of list. So there's my 2 cents. This is going to be a bunch of stuff. Some of it I got this year. I think some of it was released this year. But all of it is just stuff that I like. So that is number one. Secondly, this is going to cover a lot of different interests. If you want the order really quickly, what I think it's going to be right now as I start doing this, because I'm going to do this, film this in segments, is folders, fixed blades, lighters, music stuff, miscellaneous, I think. So for now, that's what the order is going to be. I might go back and change that later, but for right now, that is what the order is going to be. If I could figure out how to do timestamps, I would. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get into it with my top 5 folding knives of 2025. And at number 5, we have the Flytanium Arcade. This is a really, really good knife. I've heard that they've had some quality control issues more recently, but I think it was a Gen 1. Yeah, it was a Gen 1 actually. I've had no issues with it. I got the inserts, I got the green aluminum, S35 VN blade steel. It's a really good knife. The shark lock is super fidgety, very, very tough. The only thing about it that I don't super love is it's a little bit thick behind the edge, which can lead to some suboptimal slicing performance. Other than that though, it's a truly excellent knife and a highly recommendable blade. That right there is going to come in at 5th. At 4th, we have this guy right here. This is the Kaiser Slicer. Terrible name, but Nitro V, Contour G10, Crown Spine, thumb ramp. I love a thumb ramp. Fidgety action on a backlock, which is hard to do, and sorry, I'm doing this at an awkward angle. Half stop for safety, so you can close and open it one-handed without any real problem. I'm having problems. Very embarrassing. I'm doing this at an awkward angle. Yeah, super, super fidgety, super, super fun. You have a full-sized, almost large blade. I consider anything under the size of a Buck 110 but larger than a Wee Banter to be medium, and this just barely fits into that. It is the same size as a Buck 110 in a functional sense. So it's super, super sweet. Reversible pocket clip. I really like this guy. So yeah, that is going to be in at number 4. At number 3, we have the Civivi Conspirator. I almost called it the Chevalier. No, this is the Civivi Conspirator. This is a very, very nicely done. Sorry, it's got a bunch of smoo on it. This is a very, very nicely done button lock. I have the Ultim version, which lets you see those nicely milled out internal liners. Button lock with a flipper tab, which is one of my absolute favorite combos. I love a good flipper tab. And fullers. I just like fullers. Aesthetically, I like fullers. Mechanically, I like fullers. I like them as a deployment method. Fullers just are great. You have really good jimping up here. You have enough space for a full-handed grip and a couple of alternative grips. The action is super, super slick. Nitro V blade steel, nothing really to complain about. It is a little bit slick, which would be like my biggest complaint about it, but honestly, it's really not bad. Reversible pocket clip, super, super comfortable, highly recommendable knife for number 3. In our number 2 position, we have this guy right here. So this is the Vosteed Raccoon Top Liner Lock Bowie, which has a awful name, just for the record. However, It's got a top liner lock in it, which is an absolutely brilliant lock, especially when paired with a button actuating method, because what you have is a knife that feels in operation like a button lock, but is more reliable and has a better detent, which is just truly incredible. I love the Bowie blade shape. I love the full-length swedge. Like, the swedge goes through the clip point all the way down until the jimping, which is just really, really cool. You have a good choke-up position, very accessible blade, super, super good action. It's an incredible feeling knife. You have a fuller tab for the reversible pocket clip, which is super duper slick. This is just a really, really well done knife. 14C28N and G10 for the handles, which round this off. It is slightly above what I consider to be a budget knife, which is under 100 Canadian dollars, but it is still incredibly close and a very, very good knife. So if you are looking for just a phenomenal knife, I do think that the top liner lock version of the Raccoon is one of, if not the most recommendable knife out there. Just absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. And in my number one spot for folding knives right now, we have this right here. That was embarrassing. We have this right here. This is the Kaiser Brat. It's got a bunch of shmoo on it. Yeah, so 154 cm, button lock, integral G10 handle. So the entire handle is milled out of one piece. In practice, what this actually changes is very little. It is a little bit more comfortable, in my opinion, a little bit more comfortable to grip because you don't have the sharp seam, but you still kind of have it up here where your thumb might rest. You have a lot of jimping, which is really, really good. Phenomenal action. One of the best sounds. Hold up, let me see if I can. One of the absolute best sounds out of the knives in my personal collection. I absolutely love it. Phenomenal feel to it. You have a one position tip up pocket clip, so it can only go on the back there. It's a very, very right hand oriented knife, for better or for worse. You have the button lock, you have the pocket clip, all of this set up exclusively for right-handed carry. But that being said, it also has my absolute favorite edge geometry, which is flat belly tip. I would like a little bit more of a pokey tip, maybe with something like a clip point in the future, but for now, this thing is truly, truly an excellent blade. I've had it over a year. I just love it. It's so comfortable in the hand. It's so reliable feeling. It holds an edge beautifully. This is without a doubt my favorite knife in my collection right now. So, just in terms of folding knives, these are my top 5. Now, onto the fixed blades. And onto our fixed blades. So, taking the 4th position for my absolute favorite fixed blades, it's not going to fit in the frame. It's this guy right here. This is the Buck Knives 108 Compadre Fro. Yeah, it's a big chonker. So, very simple leather sheath, multi-layered leather in the bottom. Wow, this thing is dirty. Fair enough. Double retention snaps for it, and it actually has a hole for the Buck logo cutout to fit through, so you can hang it on walls and stuff like that when it's in the sheath, which is super duper handy. I'm gonna put the sheath down there. Otherwise, what we have is a almost 10-inch blade. I believe it's 9 3/4 inch blade of Bose heat treated 5160, which is a spring steel. It does have this awful Cerakote on it. You can actually see the Cerakote is wearing away much, if you want to focus, is wearing away much too fast, which is kind of annoying. I do understand the benefit of a coating on a non-stainless steel like this, but Cerakote just wears away so awfully. But that's not relevant. What is relevant is this is a phenomenal chopping hatchet replacement kind of a deal. It's nice and thick. You've got 2 hand positions. You can choke up right behind the blade for some fine work in this sort of recurved section here, or you can choke back to this really nice big, like you can actually see just how big that swell is, and you can get some real power for chopping. Like, this is a beast at processing wood, and has, for me at least, replaced my use of hatchets entirely. Any small stuff that needs splitting, I am jumping right to this. It is so much fun. It handles so well. It feels so good in the hand, and it handles so well for a knife this size. It's just really, really pleasant. You have a forward lanyard retention spot here, so if you wanted to sort of tie it to your hand so you don't lose it or anything like that, which could be valuable for sure. Holds an edge beautifully. This is just a really, really well done knife. I haven't done a full-length video on it. I should at some point. My Micarta handles, it's nice. I am a really big fan of this thing. Super fun, not practical for every day, but super, super fun. Great for wood processing, just a phenomenal blade. In our number 4 position, we have this guy right here. This is a Morikniv Companion F in stainless steel. Rubberized grip with some hard plastic, the classic Mora blade, Scandi grind. Really just a simple, traditional, basic knife. And the reason why this always ranks so high for me, one, the rubberized handle is just super nice for working in a lot of different environments. This is my go-to chicken knife. When we are doing chickens, which, I mean, we do that every couple weeks. When we are doing chickens, this is my go-to knife. Easy to sharpen, easy to touch up, stainless. I can put it through the dishwasher without any real worries. Rubberized grip, so I'm not worried about losing it in my hand. Holds an edge well enough to get through 50 or 60 chickens with absolutely no problem. Easy for doing the legs and the heads and the stuff. Like, this is just such a nice little knife. You've got a nice pokey tip. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely just a chicken processing dream right here for our number 4 position. Dead simple, don't get me wrong. Like, there's not a lot happening there, but just really, really good. All right. In our number 3 position, we have this guy right here. So this is my Moki Bird and Trout. It's got some shmoo on it. Moki Bird and Trout. Very, very simple, straightforward draw point profile. Very, very thin blade stock. Maplewood burl handle with a little lanyard hole back there. But the big trick is in the details. The jimping right here as an index finger stop, and the very, very sharp, but, oh, button my camera. And the very, very sharp, but not like painful jimping in the back here means that I've never slipped onto the blade, despite how easy it looks like it would be to. I've never slipped onto the blade. Super, super comfortable. Got a good spot if you're using this as like a dining knife. It looks in place in high functions. It's just a truly excellent little knife. It's not huge, it's not designed for heavy duty tasks, but in terms of just thin slicing and poking, absolute dreamboat. In my number 2 position, what we have is this right here. This is my Hat Custom. Oh, I forgot to do blade steels. The blade steel on the Morikniv is, I believe it's 12C. 12C27 is what Morikniv uses as their basic steel. And this is AUS 8. Yeah, AUS 8. Alright. This right here is my Hat Custom. Hollow ground drop point blade. A very, very tiny little drop point blade to be sure. We have a little bit of mostly decorative jimping back here. But what really sells this to me, one, is for a small blade, it still has a full-length handle, which for me is a huge deal. That is very, very valuable to me. The other thing that's really nice about it is, in addition to having that hollow grind, it's got Magna Cut blade steel, so it does hold an edge absolutely beautifully. Super duper comfortable, super, super nice for those little tasks, not intimidating, especially with the full sheath. It's a not intimidating knife, it's an easy knife to carry. This thing here is super duper valuable for going around town and stuff like that. And just all the details on it are just so nicely done. Yeah, no, I am in absolute love with this knife. We have a resin hardened wood burl handle with polished stainless steel pins. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful custom knife. And in my number 1 position, we have this guy right here. This is the Kaiser Suez, or Southwest. Honestly, I like this because it feels like more than a sum of its parts. What we have is a about 5-inch clip point blade, for a nice pokey tip, saber height flat grind with a fuller. I love a fuller. Both aesthetically and in practice, it allows the blade to be a little bit lighter whilst retaining almost all of its strength. We have some very functional, albeit a little bit soft jimping back here, and a fully usable finger choil. We also have these finger scallops if we're doing any like food preppy stuff or outdoorsy stuff that requires finger scallops, skinning, scraping, that kind of a thing. Which is super handy. We have a thumb ramped section back here, which gives us a very, very pokey grip as like a self-defense option if that is more your shebang. Really, really comfortable handle, multi-grip handle. Just absolutely love this thing. And then we have some jimping on the back. This is not a grip that I use particularly often, but if that is your thing, that is going to be your thing. We have a forward lanyard bead if that is how you like to retain, but we also have a backwards lanyard space back here, which again is just kind of helpful. And the Kydex sheath for it, which I've already dropped, 1 second, is set up for Scouts carry, which means this is super, super easy just to drop onto your back. It's got a nice flared opening to it, so it's super easy to drop on your back, super easy to return the knife to. And if you're out and about in public, whatever, you can just pop your shirt over it, completely incognito. Super, super easy way of carrying a very useful knife. D2 and G10, yeah, super, super nice knife. This is easily, if it wasn't for my boot knife, which is my most carried just by virtue of always being in my boot, this would be my most carried fixed blade, no question asked. It is absolutely phenomenal. Fits super, super easily, super, super comfortably. Great knife. Very, very pokey tip. Just exceptionally well done. So yeah, that is my top 5 in terms of the fixed blades. Now let's get into lighters. And for lighters, so a lot of these you guys will have seen, not all of them. But to start with, at number 5, we have this guy right here. This is the Nura Lighter Writer. It's a mechanical pencil with this really nice old school, some type of plasticized grip. We have a very, very simple twist activated with a mechanical follower. And the end, as you can see, is a little bit messed up, but as far as I've been able to tell, it takes about a 0.8. So it's a fairly thick mechanical pencil with an automatic lighter. Oh, come on. On the end of it, I did just fill all these up with gas, so it should be lighting right now. But for whatever reason, it is not. That's annoying. You can see the very clear spark. So it does operate very, very simply. You press down back here on the actual pocket clip, which allows, so the arm is continuously under spring tension. And normally it lights. I don't know why it's not right now. Anyway. Yeah, so at number 5 is this guy right here. It was my first automatic lighter. It's a very, very simple automatic lighter, which I kind of appreciate. I did a full restoration on it because when I got it, it was in pretty rough shape, full disassembly. Haven't been able to find out a lot about this guy, so if you know anything about it, I would love to hear about it down in the comments. But for an old school mechanical pencil lighter, I think this one's really, really cool. So that one there goes at number 5. In my number 4 position, and the only butane lighter in my collection, we have this Colibri Ultra Slim. I don't know a ton about this. It's actually fairly difficult to find out very much information about these sort of Japanese-made Colibris, especially from sort of the 70s, which as far as I can tell is when this one comes. But it's an ultra-thin lighter. It has a couple of really clever things to it. Like, for example, that's very hot right now. If you press back here, that's how you reload new flints, which is kind of neat. It's got an offset flame nozzle just in order to fit all this stuff into such a slim package, which I think is super duper clever. Adjustable flame and your refill area, and a really nice big roller. It's a very, very satisfying lighter to use, despite the fact that it is very, very slim, very, very pretty, and not particularly heavy. but it's just a really well made, really nice little lighter. So that one there goes in my number 4 position. Now, this is a lighter that is at number 3, not because I think it's the 3rd best design in my collection, but because the number 2 lighter has a special story to it. This is a Brown & Bigelow Windmaster lighter. This was a type of advertising lighter designed by Brown & Bigelow. And what I think is really, really clever about this is, first off, it's not that dissimilar to a Zippo. It's a little bit bigger in all dimensions. It has a much heavier feeling lid to it. And what's really, really clever about this is, unlike a Zippo where the entire outer casing is whatever your advertiser wants, for this guy right here, it's just these bottom aluminum sections. So you end up seeing these sort of, it's like the opposite of the Zippo, where you get, the Zippo insert and then whatever branded sort of case to it. This right here, you get the branded case and then the Brown & Bigelow lighter that fits around it, which I just think is super, super clever. It's really chunky. You've got this really nice, thick, really, really nice and thick spin wheel, which is super duper satisfying. You've got a big flame with that very, very classic, that's why they call it the Windmaster, right? But it's got that very, very classic anti-wind cutout to it, which is super duper convenient, heavy, reliable, great flame, super comfortable in the hand, a little bit bigger than a Zippo. This is, purely in terms of design, in my opinion, the 2nd best lighter in my collection. But I am putting it at number 3 because this is my number 2 choice. So it's nothing particularly special on the surface of it. It is a Zippo. As you can see, it was made in 2021. This was a grad present for my girlfriend. It's one of 2 Zippos she's given me. I'm not going to show off the other one because it's got my name on it and her name on it and some other stuff, but it's one of 2 Zippos that I've been given by my girlfriend. It was a grad present. It was the first time we were going to be spending significant amount of time apart because I graduated a couple of years before she did, unfortunately. Other than that, the emotional story is what puts it at 2nd, really and truly. Other than that, it is a Zippo, very, very functional, very, very classic. I don't particularly like the butane inserts in Zippos just because I prefer a gas or a fluid flame. I don't know what to call that. Wick flame is what I'm going to call it, I think. I prefer a kerosene. There we are. Kerosene flame, personally. But yeah, it's a Zippo. They're dead iconic. They're really, really well done. I've had this one since I graduated. It's a wonderful lighter. I like the Ace of Spades design on it, and if you get close, you can see some of the scrolling detail on it is phenomenal. Yeah, this thing has been locked in my pocket pretty much since I've gotten it. So truly, truly phenomenal lighter. Zippos are obviously absolute classics. Again, purely in terms of design, I do think that the Brown & Bigelow is better. It's a little chunkier, it's a little heavier, it holds more gas. You've got a bigger flame, a bigger wheel, it's easier to operate, but just for the story of it, this has a very special place in my heart and will always be my number 2. Now, at number 1, we have this right here. So this is a Ronson D-Light made, does it say on there? Here in Toronto, I'm not in Toronto, but here in Canada. Come on, focus on what I want you to focus on. Come on. It does not want to focus. There we are. So this is before Ronson fully changed their name over from Dominion Metal Artworks. Come on. There we are. It's got a little bit of extra gas. Phenomenal lighter. This is comfortably over 100 years old at this point. Exceptionally well made with that Ronson toggle. Oh, come on. Yeah, with that Ronson toggle action. Exposed flame, so it doesn't do as well in the wind or anything like that, but it's just truly exceptionally classy, very well done. You've got this sort of Art Deco stamping on the front. It's a beautiful lighter, highly reliable lighter, and it is one of the first lighters that I got when I was living out of town, out of where I live right now, going to school for blacksmithing. At the time, one of the things that I was doing in order to sort of fund my hobbies and fund the start of this YouTube channel actually was I was buying lots of cheap scrap lighters on eBay. And this came in one of those lots, and I managed to restore it. It wasn't too hard. It had some rotten flint in the actual flint assembly and needed a new spring. A couple of the screws were sort of seized shut, so it just got a deep clean. Nothing too much, but it just really re-enlightened the passion that I've had for lighters for a very, very long time. And it told me that, you know, buying these bulk lots of lighters and flipping them for as much as I could, right? Because, like, you'd buy a bulk lot of 50 odd lighters and you'd be able to make like 6 of them, 6 good lighters out of the end of it, and you'd flip those and you'd make back your money in like 50-60 bucks. But that really worked for me, and that is something that, I mean, the early days of this channel, right, it funded a lot of that. So yeah, but this one here I never sold, I'm never going to sell. I don't know whose initials those are, but this is a wonderful example of a little lighter. And yeah, it's going to be a long time before this gets unthrown from being my favorite. So that's it for lighters. We're going to move into my audio stuff now. Now for audio. So audio is going to fit into a couple of different categories. Up first, we're going to have our actual like music players, so to speak. And then I'm going to have a amp DAC that I've been using this year that I really like. And then a couple of sets of headphones that I've been a big fan of this year. So, starting off with our music players, we have this guy right here. Yeah, big chunk. So this is the Audio-Technica Soundburger. It's a portable vinyl player, plain and simple. Open it up over here. You can feed on put your vinyl on there, put this on top, and it plays just like you would expect. Lithium-ion battery, I do not remember how big the battery life on it is, and USB-C rechargeable. It also has a 3.5mm out. It doesn't have an internal amp, so the 3.5 out is really just for going to headphones, or not headphones, to a amp, or to a speaker, or something like that. But overall, it is still a pretty good player. It has a speed option for 33s or 45s, which is your RPM range, which is big or small records, functionally. Yeah, it's a very well done little enclosed system. It's got a Bluetooth option, so it will also Bluetooth to devices, which is super duper convenient, actually. It's really nice. And it has a screw that you can thread in that I don't have. It's in its go bag right now. You can thread in that actually locks it closed. So, for transport and stuff like that. Super nice little self-contained system for vinyl. I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking your vinyl on the road, just because, like, vinyl's fairly delicate and it takes up a lot of space, but this does allow that to be an option. So, or more accurately, if you're going to like a friend's house or something like that and you just want to be able to show off a new record that you got, this is super duper handy. It is my main record player. It's good. I like it. So, yeah, that's why it gets its spot on this for this year. And the only other main actual audio player that I have right now, oh, yeah, it hasn't been used in a day or two, is this guy right here. This is a 7th gen iPod Nano. It's just an excellent little MP3 player that works natively with the iTunes Store, which is just so valuable. Oh, good song. Yeah, dead simple. You can use it to record voice notes if you plug in headphones that have a microphone to them. You can listen to the radio as long as you have, again, headphones with a microphone in them attached to it. It will connect to Bluetooth. It doesn't connect to Wi-Fi, but it's just an excellent little device, and I highly recommend it. 16 gigabytes, long battery life. I don't remember what the official number is, but the battery life on it is really good. I have like 700 and something songs, and I'm taking up like 5 gigs plus a bunch of episodes. Oh yeah, like 40 episodes of podcasts and 700 songs, and I'm taking up like 5 gigs, which is pretty cool. It'll even do Apple's loss list, the iTunes loss list thing, which is, again, it's just pretty sweet. So yeah, super super handy, super convenient, very small, fits in the fifth pocket of a pair of jeans. 3.5mm jack. Lightning connector's kind of the only like downside to it, especially with Lightning now going away. But still, you know, Lightning's not difficult to find by any stretch of the imagination, and it works well. So yeah, highly recommendable little device. You can still pick them up secondhand for like under 100 Canadian bucks. I would recommend it. These things fit so much storage space. They work without internet. They work. Nobody can delete your shit off this. Like, that is the most valuable thing to me. More and more and more and more. The fact that nothing I put on here can be deleted without my approval means so much to me. Yeah, just, it matters. Keep your shit savable. So yeah, in terms of actual audio players, these are the two main ones that I've used this year. I do have like cassette players, I have an 8-track player, CD players, but like most of my CDs I just burned to my iTunes library, so that's whatever. Oh yeah, you can see my face there. Hello. Most of my CDs I just burned directly to my iTunes library, so that's like whatever. And other than that, I mean, yeah, like in terms of audio quality, the best ways you're going to get it are lossless first, vinyl second, and generally speaking that holds true no matter what. So these two, highly, highly recommendable. Now for my amp DAC, I'm actually going to move these right out of the way. My amp DAC, this guy right here. This is a FiiO BTR5, little Bluetooth amp DAC. It has a 2.2 I think? 2.4? I don't know. I think it's 2.2. 2.2 mil balanced output on the one side, 3.4 mil, 3.5 mil on the other side, which is generally speaking what I use, I'm going to be honest. But it's rated for like 180 ohms out of the balanced connector. Like it's got a lot of power to it if you really want it to. Bluetooth or USB-C. USB-C recharging. It gets a little bit over 8 hours worth of battery life out of it, which, you know, that's pretty good. A little bit less. I would like something that has a little bit more, but for what it is, that makes a lot of sense. And like, I have never had this above 30. I think it goes to like 100 or whatever. Yeah, connected. Oh, I really hope that didn't turn this into my whatever. Let's see how loud this actually goes. So I had this at 29, and that was on a plane. Through a medium high resistance pair of head. Okay, 60. So I've never had this above 50% power. Like, ever in any environment, which is kind of crazy to me. Yeah, super dead simple, really, really nice little Bluetooth amp DAC. It fits easily into a pocket. Do I have a Bic on hand? I don't think I do. Here it is next to a lip balm. Like, it's the same length as a lip balm. It's a little bit less than twice as wide as a lip balm. Like, it's tiny. It fits comfortably in a hand, fits comfortably in a pocket. This is a phenomenal little Bluetooth amp DAC. All right, into headphones. We're going to start off with my wired ones. Generally speaking, my wired ones are my preferred, but, you know, worth just mentioning that's what we're starting with. So these are my 02s. I forget who they're by. I think they're Critical. 02. Yeah. They are an inexpensive pair of in-ear monitors that just frickin' work. Replaceable cable. They're the second set of these that I got. Actually, the first set that I got, one of them fell out of my ear, Like, it fell out of my ear, out of my helmet, and then I lost it while I was riding a motorbike around, and I liked them so much I bought another one. They're excellent. They're inexpensive. They sound good. They're easy to run. Anything I plug them into runs them great. The mic on them is better than what you get from a Bluetooth mic because it's wired. And just for day-to-day, like, they're good. They work. That is all I need. So, and they look nice. You know, if that matters to you. So yeah, Zero Twos, they're just functional. They're good. They're comfortable. I quite like them. Alright. Now for like my main set of headphones, these are my go-tos if I care about what I'm listening to or anything like that. These were actually a grad gift to myself. These are my Meze 99 Classics. Alright. Walnut ear cups, brass fixtures. You've got this self-adjusting band that when you put it over your head, which is just super nice. Spring steel outer band, so it just cups onto your ears super duper comfortably. Removable wires. You have a microphone with a playback thing. The one thing I don't like about this is the playback is like, it's not even remotely clicky, so it's very mushy, which makes it a little bit difficult to tell if you've done something or what's going on until the music reacts to it, which is a little bit unfortunate. But they are exceptionally comfortable. They sound phenomenally good. I can't give like a full audiophile level review of them just because I am not that, but ThankPods has a really excellent video on them. It's a couple of years old now at this point. But yeah, they're so good. I've had them since I graduated. I've replaced the ear cups on them once about 6 months ago. So the ear cups lasted almost 4 years. Yeah, no, absolutely great. Super happy I got these. They look incredible. They sound incredible. They are very comfortable. They're not too heavy. And they came with this nice little storage case. Yeah, super good. All right. For Bluetooth, the first thing that I've had them for about 6 months now, and they've become part of my EDC. These are my Shokz OpenFits 2s. They're unhappy with something going on in this environment. Weird. Anyway, these are really good open Bluetooth earbuds. So the big trick with these is they're not actually plugging your ears. So I work in a machine shop as a welder, which means I have earplugs in all the time. On top of that, I swim, which just all of that adds up to the fact that my ears get really clogged. That's just a fact of life. You know, I'm working in hot environments with plugs in my ears. I'm sweating, there's moisture. Yeah. So something like this that doesn't actually plug my ears, super duper handy. They have physical buttons on the top, which is really nice. They fit extremely securely to the outside of my ear, and they're comfortable. And they have enough battery life that I can wear them all day, come home, and they're still pretty good. So, yeah, really good set of Bluetooth true wireless earbuds. Keep in mind, they aren't in your ear, so they will bleed a little bit. So people around you, if you're listening to especially louder music on the bus or whatever, people around you can hear them. But for me, what I really like them for is playing low volume music when I'm out and about, just to kind of cut down on the ambient sound a bit. And to that end, these do a excellent job. Alright, my next, when I'm working here at my forge or doing work for myself, or taking on personal clients or whatever, when I'm not at the job that pays me the most, these are what I wear. These are 3M WorkTunes. They're the older version with the micro USB plug. There's a newer version with the USB-C, which I would probably recommend nowadays. I don't know. I haven't tried them. You've got one big button. They do calls. They have truly awful microphone in them, but they do have a microphone in them. But the big trick with these is they are safety-rated headphones. You put them on your ears. You can listen to music, you can do stuff like that through it, but you're not, like, I've got tinnitus already at all of 21, almost 22 years of age. I have unilateral tinnitus in my one ear. because when I went to school for blacksmithing, my station was directly next to the power hammer, and even through headphones, just the ringing just absolutely caused permanent hearing damage in one of my ears. And so something like this, just to prevent as much further damage as possible, is super, super valuable. Being able to play music, listen to podcasts, do something that keeps my mind a little bit activated while I'm waiting for heats, or while I'm waiting for stuff to cool enough for me to weld on it, or grind it more, or do whatever I need to do. Super, super valuable. So yeah, they're good. They've got a lot of battery life. I think it's like 32 hours of battery life in them or something like that. They connect super easily. The one thing that I do find a little bit annoying is it's one button that does everything. Press and hold to power on and off. And when I have my shield or something like that on, it'll press the button because the button's just out on the side, which is a very minor nitpick. They can also be run with a 3.5 mil jack, which is kind of handy. And the batteries are replaceable in them. It's a bit of a pain, but they are replaceable. So all of that is to say, I'm a big fan of these. They're clunky, they're a little heavy, but they do what they say on the tin, and you know what? In a noisy environment, having something that is both hearing protection and can play music is nice. So, yeah, super, super handy little guys. Big guys. And then finally, for kind of my out and about, if I'm out reading or something like that, it's these guys. These are my Ubastana Los Angeles. Honestly, these guys' big trick is the band right here. It is a solar panel. So when you're out and about, if you're out in the sun, if you're, reading on the front lawn or whatever, where you're getting lots of sun, these can run indefinitely. I've had them comfortably over a year now. I think I've charged them 3 times. Maybe. Super, super good. They have, I don't even know what the battery life is on them. But they have a good battery life on top of that because I've used them in the dark lots. But if you're out and about, reading in the field, walking and talking, whatever, these just work. Super duper handy. You have physical buttons, USB-C for when they do need to get recharged, good amount of swivel. Despite the fact that this is, solar panels, you actually do have a good amount of flex, so they are quite comfortable, which is nice. They're really, really good. And cleverly enough, their storage case actually leaves their power band fully exposed. So you can leave them in their little protective case on a windowsill or whatever, and then continue getting charged, which is super duper handy. So yeah, I don't know what got on them there, but yeah, super, super nice set of headphones. Audio-wise, like quality-wise, they're quite good. I mean, nothing's going to compare to the Messays, but they are easily the second best kind of out of this list in terms of quality. So yeah, now we're going to get into my next section, which is going to be kind of miscellaneous stuff. And now for our last section of gear. This is all just kind of miscellaneous stuff that I've really, really liked throughout the year. Some of it's going to be tools, some of it's going to be just EDC odds and ends, some of it's going to be stuff that I carry every day and really, really like to use. So without any particular further ado, let's get started on this section with this guy right here. I am covering up my initials. Flip it over. There we are. This is a hat holder. It's a magnetic hat holder. You put the brim of your hat kind of there. The magnet snaps down over top of it, and then you have this retaining loop that you can clip onto a bar, slide onto something, whatever, however it works. This is super duper handy. I carry a cowboy hat, or wear a cowboy hat, I should say, all the time. And having a good, safe, secure place to hang it, where it's not going to damage the inside of my hat, is really, really nice. And a lot of hooks are very, very hard on hats. So having something like this that can safely, securely, and easily hold my hat is really valuable. And it's got nice, powerful magnets in it. So super, super nice little accessory there. In very similar vein, I have this right here. Now, this is advertised as, I think it's like a cola bottle holder, like a 2-liter bottle holder for hikes and stuff like that. That's not what I use it for. I actually use this as a key ring. So I'll clip my various keys onto it like that. And the reason I do that is I live somewhere, relatively speaking, cold. And one of the super convenient things that this has is super, super easy button tabs. Oh, dropped it. Which just means that having all of my keys on my waist so that, on their little separate packages, like this is my house key and my couple of other keys, having them on separate packages where I can remove them if I have the finger dexterity to do so is really handy, because then I don't have a whole ton of keys. I'm not circling through trying to grab the correct key, and I'm not putting a whole bunch of unnecessary weight on my my ignition cylinder and stuff like that. But if it is particularly cold out, my fingers are frozen, I don't quite have that manual dexterity anymore, or if I'm wearing mittens or something, this right here is super, super easy to just press. All of my keys come off, and then I can, put it in one hand, grab the specific key. My hands are cold, and stick the right key into the ignition or into my door or whatever. So this is actually really, really nice for that. It's a little different, to be sure, but I'm a big fan of doing it this way instead of just on a big carabiner. I have done big carabiners before, and I find that they need a little bit more dexterity than my hands will get to when it's particularly cold out. So, yeah, I think I got this in an advent calendar last Christmas, and it's just been on my waist ever since. It's weird, but it works really, really well. So, there you go. On to another kind of miscellaneous thing. This is my screwdriver. It is my main screwdriver. It is the screwdriver I will choose to use for anything that I can choose to use my screwdrivers for. It's a Rollagear multi-bit screwdriver. It has, without a doubt, the smoothest feeling rotation I've ever felt. It has extremely, extremely precise and fine gears, or whatever it is using in there. I'm assuming gears. But it's extremely, extremely precise, so very, very minimal amount of required movement in order to catch. So you can make tons of progress, very, very minimal, very, very precise progress as well, which is super duper handy. It can go forward, backwards, or just lock. Sorry, I don't have super... So it can just lock, which is great. It can go backwards, or it can go forwards. Super, super handy. Came with a whole bunch of different screwdriver bits in there. I've actually been running it with this, which is my Wiha BitSafe, just for primarily my T8s, or my Torx bits, for dealing with knives and stuff like that. And with the little tiny nozzle, just because this is a little bit deep, it's designed for double-ended bits. So the little single bits end up kind of falling in, and they're a little bit hard to remove. But yeah, my Rollagear screwdriver, phenomenal, phenomenal screwdriver, made in Ashcroft, BC, which I've literally been to before. Beautiful mine. One of the prettiest motorbike trips I've ever been on. I would recommend 10 times out of 10. It is phenomenal. These Wiha Torx bits, really, really good too. Absolutely worth picking them up if you deal with knives or other small Torx-based items. Alright. Up next we have this guy right here. This is my main EDC multi-tool. It is the Victorinox. I'm pretty sure this is the Hiker. It's either the Hiker or the Camper, and I'm pretty sure the Camper has the bottle opener. Or, yeah, the wine opener instead of the 3D Phillips. But this thing's big trick, in addition to the blades, it has this really, really nice saw that gets used all the time. Walnut handles, so it's aged beautifully. It's super duper comfortable. Very, very inoffensive, easy to hand to people if they need a knife. Also comes with the ever convenient, I don't have thumbnails, ever convenient bottle opener, which not bottle opener, can opener, which I love. Super duper useful. Also has a bottle opener, which gets tons of use, especially around the holidays. This is a very, very well done knife. Multi-tool. The one thing I would like, and I'm not going to get until if I ever eventually bite the bullet and get a custom, would be getting a serrated main blade. I think would be super, super nice. and potentially switching out the awl for like a pair of the 58mm scissors, the little tiny scissors. I think that that would be like the two things that I would ever consider if I ever went custom. But for now, truly phenomenal, super, super comfortable, aged beautifully, and I love it. The other multi-tool that I carry all the time is this guy right here. This is a Victorinox Classic XD in ALOX. It's got the blade, it's got the nail file. Its main party trick genuinely is, again, not having a thumb, super duper weird, is the scissors. The scissors are great. They're what I do most of my nail trimming with right now. They are truly excellent little scissors. Having a little tiny blade is also kind of handy just for really, like, it's a very small blade. But for really lightweight cutting, it does work and it's never going to scare anybody. So that is quite handy about it as well. Again, I think in order to upgrade this, I would have to go custom. And I think if I were to go custom with it, what I would probably want is a proper eyeglass screw. I did shave this one here down. Where is it? I did shave this one here down a little bit. Nope, that's my knife blade. I wanted the other one. There we are. I shaved this down a little bit just so it would fit my eyeglasses. And now this is my main eyeglasses screwdriver. But I would like a dedicated eyeglasses screwdriver, as well as possibly either a bottle opener or a can opener on one of these little guys. I think would be the grand total of the modifications that I would make to it. Maybe like a, I don't even know which size, Man Bug? Is that the size Victoria, or Victoria? Nope. Is that the size Spyderco blade that they'll put in these sometimes? I don't remember. But yeah, if I were to do custom, I would probably just get a dedicated screwdriver and possibly a Spyderco blade. Maybe a bottle opener. But that'd be about it. Yeah, truly excellent little Swiss Army knife. Lives on my keys. Really, really great. All right. Now, this has been my cartridge pen of the year. It is the LTT Scribe Driver. It's fairly lightweight, at least compared to my regular pen. It is still a full steel construction. It has replaceable cartridges, bolt action, really good knurling. It is quite comfortable to write with, even if it is a little bit on the slim side for me personally. Super duper satisfying action, but what I really like about it is it just feels bomb-proof, especially for something so thin. The pure steel construction of the body coupled with this really, really durable, like, nice meaty feeling pocket clip, nice meaty feeling actuator switch. Like, it feels very nice and secure in the hand, which I find super, super appealing. So yeah, this was my main go-to for an actual ballpoint pen over this last year. It's really, really good. Don't have much else to say about it. For my main pen full stop of the year, it's actually this guy right here. This is the Karas Pen Company Ink V2. It's a fountain pen. Mine is a full brass body with a copper barrel. It's heavy. This is a very weighty pen, which I am a huge fan of. It's chunky in the hand. It's very secure feeling. Super, super comfortable to write with. I find no problems writing with this for extended periods of time. I find no problems writing with this for short periods of time at kind of funky angles. It's probably got the largest sort of angles, like usable angles, out of any of the fountain pens that I own. It's just really nice, and this has been my go-to pen for well over a year now. It's just excellent. Lives in my pocket, and nothing's managed to dethrone it yet. Other than that, kind of my last thing in terms of my favorite stuff of the year is this right here. This is plain and simple. It's just a Field Notes notebook inside of this hide mount case. I've had both of these over a year. I changed out the notebook. I bought a whole ton of them over a year ago now, a couple of years ago now, and just all of like my work notes, drawing by my girlfriend, song lyrics, short story ideas, anything that I feel worth writing down having something like this in your pocket is so valuable. On top of that, you have paper in your pocket, which you can burn if you need fire. Super, super useful. Highly, highly recommendable. Yeah, that's been kind of my favorite stuff of 2025. Lots of different stuff in there. All of it I've been using, a lot of it I've had for over a year at this point, and I just haven't gotten anything new that's managed to unseat it yet. So now, if you'll stay with me for just a little bit longer, we're going to pop into a face cam, and I'm going to talk directly about what to expect from me from the next year, my plans, my goals, and what I want to do with this channel. So hopefully see you there. Hello, humans. I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of this channel going into the year of 2026. Also, I wanted to talk about what I thought of 2025 as a year, both for the channel and a little bit on the personal side, not a lot, but a little bit on the personal side, and also sort of the general guiding philosophy of this channel in the past and going forward. So without further ado, let's get into the start of this. So this channel started out as a kind of intellectual exercise for me while I was going to blacksmithing school. I didn't really know anybody. I was in a very small town, very hippie-ish town, where I didn't know anybody, and I was just trying to find an opportunity to sit, think about something, and talk about it once a week. And that's kind of where this channel started. And that was almost 4 years ago now. And I've really enjoyed it since then, and I want to continue doing it. But in that time, I have changed a lot of what I am doing. I have become a full-time welding apprentice. I've gone to school. I've become a third-year apprentice. My life has just continued to grow and get more complicated and busier. And that's a series of wonderful things for sure, but it also means that I have at various times had more time, less time, more money, less money throughout the history of this channel, and I've touched on subjects and knives and EDC equipment literally ranging from like $5.99 up to close to $500 or $600. Sometimes more. My watch is over that. It's in the repair shop right now because I dropped it on a tile floor. But yeah, so it's one of those things where this channel kind of exists at wherever my life is at the time, and that is a wonderful thing, but that also means that when I am anticipating life changes, the channel should be anticipating changes as well. And one of the changes going into 2026 is I'd like to start saving for a house, and I live in Canada. People talk a lot about how terrible the housing crisis is in Canada. I don't, broadly speaking, think it's as bad as a lot of other people think it is, but it is still expensive to purchase property, especially if you want enough property to farm. And as a result of that, what you should expect from this channel over the next year is me staying very comfortably in the budget territory. Comfortably under 100 Canadian dollars, likely under 50, and probably a lot of ultra budget stuff, which is under 20 in my opinion. So over the next year, you might see a bit of a boost in February around my birthday, but other than that, I'm going to be very, very comfortably in the budget territory over the next year or so. That doesn't necessarily mean you should be expecting less content, though. I do still intend to be releasing one video a week, every week, for the year, to the best of my ability. And I want to do more shorts. So I don't currently have a really good filming setup for shorts. I know I've done a couple of them. I'd like to do more, but I need to figure out a better filming setup for shorts. Once I do, you should expect more of the best and worst, or favorite and least favorite, in my collection of a couple of different brands that I have a fair number of. You should also I say hopefully, but I'm also going to be doing some other odds and ends. I'm going to hopefully start getting into some soda reviews fairly soon and things of that nature. So you should be expecting more shorts from me once I have sort of a filming setup figured out. In addition to that, I think you should start to see some Wednesday videos by February at the very latest. I'm hoping it'll be out by like the end of January, but by February, what these Wednesday videos will be is they'll be more researched, more kind of in-depth on a single topic compared to what I normally do, and they won't be related to EDC gear. The first one that I have ready right now is on Sus asperella, which is a plant indigenous to Mexico, Jamaica. It's part of a family that's indigenous to everywhere. long story made short, it was a medicine in Europe. In Russia, it was originally brought over as medicine, but then just kind of became like an herbal tea replacement. Over time, it became more and more obvious it wasn't particularly medicinal, so it started being used more and more as a flavorant. In Australia, the purified form of it became one of their first famous sodas. Super, super long history, but point being, it is now a relatively popular, if a little bit obscure, soda flavor. So, Sus Sarsaparilla, I've had a bit of a niche interest in it for a while now, and I would like to spend some time and just fully dive in depth into Sus Sarsaparilla. So that's going to be a Wednesday video. It will release on a Wednesday whenever it is ready. It's only about 3/4 written right now, so you shouldn't necessarily expect it until that is done. But yeah, so that's the Sus Sarsaparilla video will be the first one. After that, I don't know what the next one's going to be on. I'm just going to find something that piques my interest and spend a month or two researching the absolute crap out of it. So yeah, that's kind of the way that I run things. So yeah, Wednesday videos should become a thing over the next year. They will not be frequent. They won't be once a week. They probably won't even be once a month. They will be when I have time and energy to dedicate to them and a serious interest in the subject matter. So not super frequent. I'm going to do my best to avoid political commentary on both in the Wednesday videos and more broadly. Obviously, there will be times when they do affect my videos. I am still not purchasing any new products from American companies due to the fact that their country is in an economic war with mine. So I'm just fully not touching American brands to the best of my abilities. And you'll see that pop up in sort of places. Like over the course of this year, you've seen lots of Chinese knives. I'd like to get more European knives in here, some more Mork knives, possibly. Oh, they're expensive. I'd like to get some more Hella knives, but they are rather pricey, and with my budgetary constraints over the next year, I don't know if that will happen. But that is something that has popped up as a possibility, and I would very much like to pursue. So yeah, lots of sort of odds and ends in terms of gear and stuff like that, just not from American companies. In addition, I do think that you will be seeing lots of just stuff from me. Right? The Wednesday videos, shorts, once a week, regular videos as we normally get. I might do some special, like, on specific day videos if I can figure stuff out in advance and spend the money on getting them done, kind of a thing. I'd also like to do videos that are not just highly researched or on gear, so I might take the opportunity to talk about motorbikes. I have a motorbike. I also ride other motorbikes, various that are and are not mine, family members and stuff like that. So I might take the opportunity to talk about some of them, what I do and do not like about them. There won't be full like reviews. I'm not experienced enough really and truly to give in-depth reviews, but I do think that everybody has a unique perspective, and I do believe that I have enough experience on the bikes that I have experience with to provide my perspective as a thought out and form-filled idea. So there will be some things that I think you'll get that will not be gear or specifically my Wednesday videos that will still pop up from time to time. But more broadly, you should expect the once a week videos will not change. They will still be mostly on knives or other EDC gear, and they will come every week, 52 of them this year, to the best of my ability, barring sickness and whatever else comes up. Yeah, I think over the year 2025, a lot of great things have happened for my channel. I think we've almost tripled in size, which is terrifying. I'm not really in this for growth or for the purpose of having a large following or a large number of viewers. Really and truly, this was an opportunity for me to stop, think, and talk. And the most impactful moments throughout the year is when people engage with me and is when I can have those conversations with people about knives, EDC gear, whatever it happens to be, where I can voice my opinion, hear theirs, and converse on the finer points of those opinions in a respectful manner. It is very important, in my opinion, to hold the ability and to cultivate the ability to have a respectful disagreement. And knives are a thing that people love to argue about. So I do think there's a lot of opportunity for respectful disagreement in this sphere. Yeah, I think this has been a good year for my channel. This has been a good year for me personally. I'm not going to get too much into it, but there's been a whole bunch of really big sort of upswings over the last year for me, which have made me very, very happy. And yeah, things are going well. Things will continue going well. I hope to see you guys around. This has been a stupidly long video. I think this is probably my first video over an hour. So if you're still here, glad to see you. I think some of the Wednesday videos will push an hour as well. So if you've enjoyed listening to my voice for this long, you're crazy, but thank you. Stay safe and have fun out there. Peace.